Care Home Open Week should really be the cornerstone of every care home sort of events calendar. It's such an incredible opportunity for care homes to reach out to their local towns, cities, villages, wherever they're based, and work with different members of the community who wouldn't necessarily come in contact with them on a day-to-day. So it's a great opportunity for reaching out to potential employees of the future. It's a great opportunity to interact on an intergenerational level. Obviously, from a commercial perspective, to be able to reach out to prospective future residents and their family members is a key opportunity. But it's just a great week to celebrate everything that you're doing as a care home, to be proud of what we're doing as a sector, and just to shout about as loud as we can to welcome in our wider community.
And I think, like you said, events are so important as part of kind of how you offer care for residents in care homes in particular. We talked a bit about some innovative events that you've been involved in.
Sure. So, I mean, events within social care, there's so much that we can do, and I know from a provider perspective, you can almost sort of get a bit bogged down in where do you start. We obviously see a lot of care homes out there doing things like memory cafes and like breakfast clubs, and these are great sort of ways to reach out to sort of the social care aspects of events. But something that one of my CRMs, a lady called Lindsay Fletcher, she sorted and developed a kids club throughout the summer holidays this year, with basically the idea to go out to all of the primary schools and the secondary schools within her little town in Hadley, and create once a week a kids club where they could come into the care home. The families, so the mums and the dads, they could sort of sit down, have a cup of coffee, just relax, because we all know how challenging summer holidays can be when you've got kids running around the house. Just have a break for themselves, and then the kids can go off and do some great activities and have fun with each other. And then from a resident perspective, they get to have a real meaningful sort of intergenerational experience, and have that sort of older younger sort of social occasion that we all know works so well within care homes.
And I love that. It just, you can imagine, the residents of the care home really enjoying that kind of buzz that it will create, and those little cheeky conversations that it can have with the kids that come, and like you said, just making that part of community, sort of normalizing that idea for, the children and the parents that, this is, a part of a lot of people's lives, and that we should share this with it. And it doesn't have to be a negative aspect of it, and there are, many challenges in care homes, but there's many beautiful things that happen all the time. So, I love that idea. And,
it's amazing. It's such a valuable sort of service that they provided by running this kids club. And it's just it absolutely exploded. I mean, I think she said at one point there was like 30 people attending these sessions and stuff. So I can't imagine what the home manager thought when all these kids just turned up on the first Tuesday. But yeah, it was a great sort of project, and it's something that I would certainly advocate to the care homes try more often. These sort of kids clubs for sure.
And it works like across the board, doesn't it? So, it helps the organisation commercially. It's really, really positive for the residents and the team members. You'd like to think at the home that, you get that appreciation from the local community and things like that.
It's a massive feel-good factor, isn't it? At the end of the day, and as you sort of say, commercially, commerciality, it's not a dirty word. We should, understand, and we should sort of embrace that aspect of being a provider, and actually, running this sort of intergenerational kids clubs. Yes, it's the right thing to do, and it has that so much social value. But from a business perspective, there is so much PR opportunity, social media posts, the print advertising aspects, the whole sort of 360 marketing sort of suite you can put behind this sort of event, and it just works so well for drawing in future residents and prospective inquirers ultimately.
Any other ideas for events that you can share?
I said to you, I used the phrase, I've got a bee in my bonnet at the moment about sort of events, and I really think events should be the fundamental sort of cornerstone of any marketing strategy at the moment. We've had 2.5 years of care homes having their doors firmly shut, whilst at the same time having social care thrown into the general public space. So we've got high levels of sort of acknowledgement and sort of awareness of social care, but not quite for the right reasons, I think. So being able to use events these days to really throw our doors open and say, look, this is the positive aspect of social care. These are the incredible experiences that we're generating for residents. And I think that term experience is really key. So again, we talked about, mentioned about memory cafes and blue light breakfast clubs and open houses. Most most providers are doing that. I mean, you're on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. Everyone is doing a blue light breakfast club these days. So it's about saying, what can we do as a provider that's different and different from our competitors? So, things like, can we do murder mystery nights for the wider community? Can we do art fairs and music festivals and run events that are not necessarily something that you would expect in a care home? One of my older providers, there was a CRM called Amber, she created an outdoor cinema club during the summer of 2021, where basically the community came into their open gardens. They had beautiful lights across the garden, big sort of screen, a projector, and they ran an open air cinema throughout the summer months. And those are the sort of things that we could be doing and should be doing to say, look, we're a care home. Yes, we serve people and residents who are, around sort of personal care and other sort of health aspects, but we're a place to have fun, we're a place to come and live your life, and we're a place to have really meaningful, exciting experiences.
I think as well, look out into the local area and see what works. I remember I took a couple of ladies to Ascot races, because they lived in a home near Ascot. They were both interested in the horses and the horse racing, so the home arranged for them to have a box, and and that's the type of thing you can do deals with these local places, right? Because especially if you record it and you make it and you take pictures or video, they'll be happy for the publicity. So look around the local area, and again, look at what your residents like. We did a video where we took a chat to the football.
Yeah,
because he is an ex-professional football player, and that's not something you can do every day, right? But it is something that you can, that a lot of providers are able to offer, as part of it. So
isn't it? And you can it's about experiences. An experience is not an everyday thing. It's once in a blue moon. There are experiences that we all value and are truly meaningful. And I think looking at, as you quite rightly said, looking at your own community, looking at what is working in your area. So, for example, Boutique, obviously we've got one home in Newmarket, which is the home of British racing, and there are so many things that home is doing in regards to that particular theme. And they sponsor one of the local races a couple of months ago, and they took some residents out there, and there's so much that they can do with that particular subject matter. And then there's a home over in Shepperton called the Burlington, and they've got the local marina down there, and they're frequently taking residents down to see the boats and have a walk along the river, and that's particular set of experiences that home can generate. So I think as a home manager, as a provider, I'll be looking at what are my local communities like, and then create those experiences based around what is happening in your local area, and connecting it back to the outside world ultimately.